Picked up here. No swearing. Be professional. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. We got a nice panel of people right here tonight, and we are going to be taking a look at something from Moosehead Brewery's craft brewing arm, Hop City 8 Sin Black Lager. Anyway, moving right along, let's get to who we've got on the panel tonight. And the first one to my right, and probably the first one on two everybody's left on the chat, is going to be Redbeard. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing just fine. What be going down, everybody? Hoping to enjoy this more than I did a while ago. I think it was kind of meh, but I don't know. I haven't had it in a while, so good times.
Nice. All right, moving along, we got Lee from actually that's more like was it Nacho Libre? I don't know. Luchador Mask. Do you have a stage name?
I'm having a bad hair day. Just
bad
move on.
Hair day. Right. Chris, on the 10th, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss this black lager tonight. Thank you.
Yay. And next over, we got Greg. Greg Bielski, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, Nick. Right. I'm incredibly happy to find out you're not dead. And please, please, please stay away from Chris's hot tub in May because we don't want another tragic incident. Thank you.
Chris doesn't even have a hot tub.
Not anymore.
Dun, dun, dun. And last and certainly not least, we've got Jamie of Basement Beer Reviews joining us tonight. And hey, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Nice. All right. So moving right along, let's go over to the history of the beer that we're doing tonight. Get a nice little blurb here. It's actually smaller than some of the other ones I've done recently, but because Hop City is actually fairly youthful, fairly young. Hop City's 8 Sin Black Lager. Hop City opened in 2009 at the site of the Old Niagara Brewing Company brewery in Brampton, Ontario. Hop City started as a wholly owned craft brewing subsidiary of Moosehead Breweries. The brewery, however, is independently run by brewmasters Kevin Gray and John Gagliardi. Hop City's most well-known beer, of course, is based on a recipe by Kevin and John themselves, which is the Barking Squirrel Amber Lager, which was released in 2009 when the brewery opened and became a hot seller, and has gone on to win a multitude of awards at both the provincial, national, and worldwide stage. Several other beers from Hop City have also won awards at various levels. Hop City's other beers include, of course, Barking Squirrel. They have Hopbot IPA. Polly Want a Pilsner. Get clever names here. Payday Saison. Lawn Chair Weiss. Cheat Day Black Forest Porter, which I still have. I'm going to try. And, of course, tonight's beer, 8 Sin Black Lager. 8 Sin Black Lager is a 5% ABV black lager, first introduced in 2012. Hops used are Saz, Hallertau, and Magnum, which is an impressive lineup of German-style hops. And malts, which include Pale Two-Row, roasted barley, chocolate, Karastan, crystal, dark crystal, Munich, and torrefied wheat. In 2016, 8 Sin won gold medals at both the World Beer Awards and the Ontario Brewing Awards. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, Lee, you want to read the comments? See who's chatting? Rating on your parade, of course, is.
Lee, you're muted.
Anyway.
See, I was being professional. Rating on your parade says no Hop City in Maine. I hear we had a few of their beers a couple years ago, and now they're gone. So I got a Monschall Schwarzbier from Kulmbacher, Germany, brewery in Germany. Never had this. Ashley Sexton says he'll be enjoying this with you gents as well. And Rating on Your Parade says, I guess this Monschall Schwarzbier is the original black lager. Michael Jackson says it is world-class on the bottle. Oh, interesting. They actually got Michael Jackson's endorsement way back when, and they put it on the bottle, so that's kind of cool. And that's it.
That's actually
Michael Jackson's endorsements. What on what bottle? Oh, the Monschall. Okay. That's pretty cool, actually. Well, moving right along, I guess we've got people's personal history about Eights-in Black Lager. It's not a very old beer, but considering it's fairly accessible in Canada, at least, I imagine some people have some history with this one. Redbeard, you've had this before. What's your stake on this?
I've had it. I reviewed it a while back. I can't recall what number it was right now, but I've had it a couple times since. Like, it's just I like dark lagers, and this one, if it's fresh, it's not bad. I don't know what the date on this one. It's got a weird date label, but I've had it a few times, and it's decent for a black lager, depending on its freshness, in my opinion. Sorry, Chris.
Right. It's not his turn anyway. Moving over to Lee. What's your history on this beer, Lee?
I'm surprised to hear it's been around since 2012. I think it used to have a different logo design. It used to have, like, it's got the Day of the Dead skull on it, and that's immediately
It used to be a lot more colorful.
Yeah, it was colorized.
Yeah, so it looked like an actual Day of the Dead skull because they're usually very colorful. But yeah, I think we just got in the NSLC within the last 2 years, something like that. So it hasn't been around here all that long. Before that, it was just Hotbot and Barking Squirrel. But yeah, as soon as I saw it, I'd heard a little bit about it. Like, I don't peruse the beer news all that much, but I had heard little bits and bobs here and there. And as soon as I saw it, it's like, yeah, I got to try it out. And thankfully, it turns out it's worth picking up. So it's one of my go-to favorites right now.
Nice. And Chris, what's your history on this beer?
I have no history on this beer. I've never had it before.
Never had it.
No, I've had a bunch of the other Hop City stuff, but I haven't had this one. So I am drinking this for the first time. That's all I got to say about that.
Janae. Greg, what's your history on this?
I have drank this once before. Don't remember when, probably about 2 years ago. Have not had the urge to buy it since then, until I was required to by law for this chat. That's it.
By law, he says. What do you mean by law?
Please don't make fun of my name, Nick. That's sacred.
Yeah. And Jamie, what's your history on this beer?
It's not very long. Just I bought it once before. I bought it with the what's the name of it? The Hotbot, and I actually preferred this over the Hotbot. So that was the only time I've ever purchased it. So that's it.
Just the once. Like, how long ago was it?
Oh, it was like I think it might have even been a year ago. It was a while ago.
Cool. My personal history on it, I thought it was earlier than that, but I noticed I take a look at my check-in, and I'm showing this just because this also shows you what the can used to look like. Yeah, Lee, you might recognize that. Anyway, yeah, they changed the logo since then. But I think it was 2015 that is the first time I'd ever had it. It might have been even earlier than that. So for some reason, I think back 2014. It was whenever it first arrived here in New Brunswick. Because, I mean, when it was first released, it was kind of like, where Hop City is treated like a craft brewing subsidiary of Moosehead, but their craft brewery is based out of the Niagara region in Ontario. So it's like something you would find on bars. Like, I would imagine Chris could probably fill in the void on that because he's got some bar experience there in Southern Ontario. But when it finally made it to cans, or at least finally made it to cans here in New Brunswick, I was kind of excited to see something else other than Barking Squirrel released into cans or released into something that I could actually buy. And I think this might have been one of the very first Hop City products that wasn't Barking Squirrel that I could actually get here, I think. That might have been Hotbot. But either way, it was exciting to see. And I remember liking it. It wasn't like over the top amazing, but I remember liking it quite a bit because it's nice and chocolatey and a really clean, easy drinking black lager. At least it was then, you know. I don't want to give too many spoilers here. Anyway, let's move right back to say who's in the comments. I see Clueless Drinkers poking around in there.
Yeah, let's see here. Clueless Drinker says, Sorry, my comment was too professional. Josh McGarth says, unfortunately, doesn't work for me. Sorry, lads. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't even know who Josh McGrath is.
He asked earlier what time's it starting, and I told him
to
note it because we were already going, and he's saying it's not working for him.
Well, I don't know what to say for him.
Already going. Why? Anyway.
Stop using
reload your page.
Refresh your page. Sometimes it doesn't automatically start.
Get off your dial.
Of course, you wouldn't be able to hear us if we're talking right now. Anyway.
Oh, well. Clues Drinker continues, says, this does sound good, by the way. Craig from Kent Beer Review says, good stuff. Ashley Sexton said he first had this in 2015 and was probably the first black lager he had. I rated it rather favorably on Untapped, but you know how palates change over time. Craig from Kent Beer Review says, Nick loves Hotbot. Clues Drinker says Hop City is thick with 2 C's at the end. Craig goes on to say, are you getting to Leeds on the Saturday evening? Oh, so they're already making plans for themselves in our chat, and I'm not reading that shit. So you guys,
at least I'm not live on midair and trying to do a beer meal.
Yeah,
trade.
Stop it, guys.
Yeah. Do I love Hotbot? Actually, I do really like Hotbot. It's very decent, but I haven't had it in years. So, anyway. So, moving right along, let's get into what people think about this particular beer. We'll start, of course, at the side we started before. Redbeard, how you doing? How do you like this beer? What's your thoughts?
It's not bad. It's just kind of a very run-of-the-mill black lager. Like, there's nothing really amazing about it. It's nice, clean, easy drinking. Again, I'm not sure about the date on it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to taste exactly like this. It kind of has a bit of almost a funkiness to it or something like that. But overall, it's not bad, I guess you'd say. Like, are we doing the ratings now? Is that happening now?
Yep.
Okay, so we're doing a 10, right? It's been a while. It's been like 3 weeks.
Style and then overall.
For the style, like this particular can, I'm not sure. I gave it maybe like a 7 or so, and then my overall, over all things considered, like I know I liked it before, I don't mind it now. I'm going to give it like an 8 overall, I guess. So, cheers.
Cheers, Redbeard. And moving over to Lee, what's your thoughts on this beer?
Yeah, so this is a style I really like. I'm not sure if this necessarily 100% hits the sort of classic style as it originates from Europe. It seemed, and this could just be having basically only macro examples of this style from Europe. It might be sort of fucking with my perceptions, but I tend to find that a lot of the European ones in the macro side of things have, they almost have like a lactic quality to them, like almost like a sourness at the back of the end, just a small little sourness or something along those lines. Sort of like how Guinness actually sours a bit of their beer in the Guinness draft, and you can actually sort of taste that quality in the back. This doesn't really have that for me. This is much more smooth, much more easy access. It's much more on the chocolate side of things than it is the roast. Like the roast is there, it's in the background, it's nice. But this is definitely a much more acceptable, like, hey, everyone can get into this kind of thing because it's kind of almost not quite mocha, but almost there, kind of creamy mocha, kind of black lager. Style, like I said, I'm a little confused. I'd go 8 for style. I think this is still pretty goddamn close to what this style is supposed to be. Overall enjoyment, I'd just give this a solid 9. This is something I can drink all the time. I love it. It's one of my favorite go-tos, and as long as they keep making it, I'll keep drinking it.
Nice. And yeah, speaking of making it, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, it actually does say that Brampton and St. John. So I'd imagine like the stuff that we get here in the Maritimes is probably made in St. John. Anyway, moving along. Chris, what's your thoughts?
Maybe batch variation problems on this beer for me. I'm just going to say that I'm not a fan of it. I'm not getting I'm getting maybe very little bit of a chocolate flavor on this one. I find this bitter. Um, I'm starting to think maybe it's an older can because I did have to get this at the beer store, and all the beer store drinkers are just going out buying all their Bush beers and all that stuff like that. I don't know how fast this is moving in the actual beer store itself, and I apologize right now to the viewers for my elevator back there. She's being a bitch, but
I expect that now.
For black lager for the style on this one, I guess I'm gonna have to go with the 7. I don't know if this is gonna be even a fair rating on what I'm drinking right now compared to what Lee's even drinking, because if Lee is getting all that and I'm not even everything that Lee just described, I'm not getting it all. So I don't know what's going on with this can or whatever. So with style, I guess I'm gonna have to say a 7. I mean, if it's what it's supposed to be, then you're gonna have to give it a 7, just an average style. For my overall, because of this and drinking it, I should actually not even give it a rating. I don't know if this is supposed to taste like this. It could be just me and my palate today. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna have to give this thing a 4 out of 10. I'm not enjoying
Wow.
this.
Ouch.
So, I don't know what's going on with this beer, and
your can sounds watery. I'm almost kind of curious because remember that thing we did? What I forget which beer it was. It was around Christmas. Had the letter code that denoted what month it was. Mine says A, which if the letter code's to be believed, then the other numbers don't make any sense. But if A means January, what's yours say?
Mine's an A22812. That's what it says on that.
A22812.
That's exactly what I have.
That's what mine says.
Okay, mine says E29712.
I have A10712.
Huh. Mine is M10712. Whatever that means.
So me and Greg sounds like we're flying pretty here with the fucking the newest cans. Sounds like we're the fucking bosses, and you guys are at loss.
Well, there you go.
I'm getting a lot more chocolate than Chris is getting.
Suckers.
I have 2 cans, so maybe the other one might be better.
2
There you
cans.
go.
We'll try it later.
Anyway,
Maybe we'll
speaking
throw
of
it
having fresher cans, Greg, what's your comment on nice cans?
All right. Well, here's the thing. I don't like black lagers. Of all the, it's a style I don't actively find offensive like I do certain styles. Like I find Gozas offensive. I don't want those. But you can watch Nick reviews of us doing a Goza review if you want to see my opinion on that.
Collective Arts goes.
I just find black lagers so boring, so dreary. It's basically the same thing with me, like session stouts. I don't see a point to them. It's like a little bit of chocolate, maybe a little bit of coffee, and then water. That's basically what I get with this. A little bit of chocolate and then water. It's frankly, I'm going to give it a good rating for the style because for a style I don't like, I think it's pretty good. I think it's 8 out of 10 for style because it's not offensive. It's very drinkable. It's smooth. But my own personal enjoyment, it's 5.5. It's a bare pass for me. It's not offensive, so I can't give it less than a 5. But it's just not something I would ever want to drink again unless I had some reason to or somebody bought it for me or something. It's just don't like it, but I don't like the style. So 5.5, and honestly, that's probably me being a little generous for personal enjoyment. Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, it's like your own opinion, man.
In my own opinion.
Moving along. And Jamie, what's your thoughts?
It's okay. It's for me. It's a style I don't seek out, but I don't hate the style. But reading up on the style, it hits most of the marks. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for style, and for personal preference or personal enjoyment, 7.5. It's enjoyable. It's not something I'd buy a lot, but I'd happily drink it if it was lying around. So that's my opinion, my own opinion. Trademark.
Hashtag moo.
Hashtag moo.
Anyway, if anybody wants to hear my opinion on this,
I would love to hear.
Thank you.
No thanks. Okay, we're done here. Click. My thoughts on this is I like black lagers. I like Schwartz beers. I like dark lagers. I usually like to try anything I can get my hands on, to be honest. Having reviewed beers for years with my friend Heist Almighty, he's a huge fan. This is probably his favorite style when it comes to beers. So anytime he brings something back, there's usually maybe a dark lager involved, or at least there was years ago. So I've had a number of black lagers over the course of the years, and I got to say that I almost feel like there's something missing out of this one, but also at the same time, it's very good. I found that this one here had a nice, like it was almost like a milk chocolate kind of taste to it, with a bit of like a dusty like cocoa powder as well. Like almost starts off as milk chocolate and then goes into cocoa powder kind of taste. There's in the finish, there's a little bit of like a touch of dark fruit, maybe a black cherry, and it had like a very mild roast, but it kind of disappears into not necessarily soggy. It just sort of disappears into an uneventful finish. Overall, I think it's quite good. It's I was going to give it an 8 out of 10 for the style, because at least I think it does it fairly well. Like Lee was saying, I never really noticed the lactic tartness before, but I do find when I'm thinking back to all the other black lagers I've had, like Kostritzers or something, there's something about that one that this one's missing, that that an authentic black lager would have. But overall, I find it really quite enjoyable, and but I also find it a little basic and boring at the same time. That's probably why I don't buy this very often, but I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it. Overall enjoyment, I'm going to give it a 7. And Jamie's got the scores adding up. Do you want to?
What did you say the style was, Nick? I missed what you said. That
it's a black lager.
No, but your style score.
Oh, 8. 8 for the style.
Sorry. All right, I'll get to comments here. We got quite a few flooding in here. Clueless Drinker says Kostritzer is a great Schwartz beer. Ashley Sexton says Ontario panel members may be familiar with the Hop City Cheat Day Black Forest Ale. This beer has that tin metallic sweetness that people got from Cheat Day. Craig says he's had some Portuguese Schwartz beers. Ashley Sexton says he's not getting that much roastiness that he was hoping for, that he gets from some local Schwartz beers that he can get. Writing on Your Parade says that skull on the can is the same skull on a CD compilation I was on called Heavy Hardcore Headroom. I play drums on a death metal band called The Mind Parasites. You can get the CD on eBay. So cheap plug for Writing on Your Parade there. Clueless Drinker says, just be careful you don't say Schwann's beer. Completely different meaning, apparently.
I don't know if I want to Google that.
Yeah. Ashley Sexton says, Chris, that's the same batch I have. And then someone called Scoots Circus comes in with some useful information here, saying A equals January. Next two numbers are the day, and the number 8 is 2018. Yeah. The number 7 would be 2017. Writing on Your Parade, January of 22nd, 2018. Yeah. Raining on Your Parade says Michael Jackson was not kidding. The Monschwal Schwartz beer is so smooth and creamy. I was scared it might not be fresh, but it is great. It comes in a flip top bottle. Pick it up if you see it. Cool. Scoot Circus says anything over 2 months loses its later flavors, I find, and just becomes a single dominant flavor. So the A January beers would be coming average single flavored. Clueless Drinker says uneventful finish. We've all been there. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Scoot Circus says anything I drink has to be 2 months or younger, or it is a single flavor. Ashley Sexton agrees that the Kostritzer is pretty good.
And yeah, that's actually Kostritzer was the one I referenced when I was talking about dark lagers and Schwann's beers. Schwartz beers. I don't even know what Schwann's means. I don't know if you really want to Google that. I'll let somebody else do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't stand up to like Kostritzer or something along those lines.
It's funny because normally I enjoy a good black lager, but I don't know. And maybe it's just me and my palate today. I don't know what's going on, but
Stupid
not
palate.
sick or anything.
I do have the scores for you.
Oh,
scores.
time.
Read the scores.
7.7 for style and 6.8 for personal.
Yeah, I brought that right down. I apologize.
Yeah,
People brought
yeah,
that
9 and
way
4.
down.
Hey, Jimmy, if you take my score out,
I sort of tanked it too.
Yeah, Greg didn't like it either. I don't think.
Take your score out. Okay. I'm going to do some live math here.
3 divided by pi equals the circumference of the hot pot.
So basically, while Jamie's doing that, we're just going to point out that it's not as good as MGD.
Also,
No, not by a long shot.
while he does that, I got to twist. Hey, Scoots, thanks for popping by. Scoots Shirket's actually one of the people that frequently joins into my live streams and comments on my beer reviews. So
Nice.
Thanks for popping by.
Welcome to the chat.
Well, thank you for cross-pollinating.
I tried.
Cross pollinating.
I tried to give this live stream as much of a shout out as I could as I was finishing up my live stream today. So, maybe I might get a couple. I don't know.
Well, thanks, Redbeard.
7.4 without
My score.
without Chris. Yeah.
That sounds better. Keep Chris's fucking score out of there.
I think overall we liked it in
wasn't
general,
here.
except for Chris. Okay, great.
I didn't like it that much either.
You shut
I
up.
give it a bare pass.
You shut up.
Shut up.
All right, so
Well, it's
I guess
just
now
it's
that
one of
we've-
those beers. It's not a super exciting beer, but there's
No,
really
it's
good
not
things
supposed
to it.
to
And
be.
if it's not your style, it's not your style. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's all right. I think it's decent. Again,
Yeah.
mine I think is actually pretty old, but it's not bad. I
Yeah.
wished it was more fresh, but it's not.
has a nice aftertaste, nice roasty.
It's okay.
Yes.
Well, mine is probably brewed in St. John and then put right in one of the coolers at the East Point St. John liquor store. So it's like right into a cooler after it was sent from the factory. So I'm just guessing in that, but
I'd agree with the clear-headed, rational things Jamie just said a moment ago, but I'm wearing a wrestling mask, so I feel like I need to be more contentious. So fuck you, Chris, and fuck you, Greg.
Seems about right.
So
No.
confrontational.
Now, in
the
terms
voice of
Hop-
reason coming from the guy wearing a mask.
Now, in terms of Hop City, now I might be wrong about this, but from what I remember, I think when Hop City first launched, I think they were actually trying to build themselves as a craft brewery, and they were actually hiding the fact that they were owned by Moosehead, which I guess theoretically I think Moosehead is considered a craft brewery too, even though it's really not.
Isn't that kind of what Rickards did for a while back in the day? They thought they were like,
I think Rickards is
my beer knowledge doesn't go that far back. I just remember it
I
being a big
researched
thing.
a while
Where,
ago, and I'll probably wind up researching again because we may have a Rickards product coming up next week. But
yeah, they just asked in the comments, but that was said a while ago. Come on, you haven't been watching the whole show, obviously.
yeah,
Records Rattler.
I just remember for the
that's-
longest time, apparently nobody really knew where these guys came from. They just suddenly came out of nowhere with 3 beers at the LCBO, and you couldn't really figure out where they were brewed or anything.
There's something funny about the origins of Rickards. That's like they always. I think the red might have been purchased as a like it was like a craft brew that was purchased by Molson, but like Molson acquired Rickards in like 1982 or something.
Well, the white was
It's been a
just
long
basically
time.
the white was just Blue Moon, wasn't it? Until
That's after like the Coors merger or whatever, partnership or whatever. But Chad fucking knows. I remember in one of the beer we decided he fucking talked about it. He knows the history a little bit better because it was like some Ontario dude who had the Rickards Red. Either he was brewing it or he had the recipe and Molson bought it from him. So
It was something else. I have to look it up.
So this to Beer Analysis 101 to be continued whenever the hell Chad is online next and we can question him.
Also, quickly,
stay
randomly. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Just
Jim.
Redbeard. I actually got a few text-in scores. These ones actually bring it way down. So Radar gave it a 1 out of 10 because
Sounds
it's not
right.
side launch. It's not side launch.
It's not side launch.
Yeah, and
Fair
Europe
enough.
gave it a 1 out of 10 because it's not Thomas Hardy. So we're basically at a 5 out of 10.
Cheers to Side Launch. Cheers to Side Launch. They were the first brewery to ever send me free beer, so I love them. But
That's
Side
not
launch,
biased at all.
Side launch is a dark lager too, and I think that was pretty better than
Nick,
this.
I was actually going to randomly though. Has Rickards Red ever been done on this?
No, we have
That
not
is
done
something to
Rickards Red.
maybe put that into like a note, kind of for the future.
What's the beer?
Oh
you
yeah,
drink, Nick?
Redbeard wants to
Well,
Rickards Red.
I've already
How
flashed the
convenient.
can,
I'm not saying that.
We're gonna do Rickard's Radler next week.
You know what we should do? We should
Get all three.
No, what we should do is start a Google document that we can just share in our fucking Facebook group, and we can have a list of beers to pick from.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be a good idea.
That's what we do for my podcast with movies and shit. So
sounds like a good idea. Actually, we can start drawing from that.
Genius.
So we should start a Patreon.
Maybe
start a
Nick,
Patreon.
maybe I know we're doing Rickard's Radler next week, but how about maybe we change it up a little bit and do everyone get a can of Rickard's Radler, Bud Light Radler, and a fucking Waterloo Radler, and we'll just compare them all.
Yeah, and we just not get a buzz and have to pee a lot. Awesome.
There you go. Anyway,
we're gonna have all the juice.
That is something to like consider for future episodes. That I'd be down. That sounds kind of cool, but that would make for a much longer probably episode. So you know,
the season finale.
Hey.
Anyway, moving right along. Let's get to any last comments that are there.
No, nothing worth reading. Let's get it here. Oh, actually, Sexton said he'd give it a 7 for style and a 6 for personal.
And Rainy Ange Parade was asking what's the beer for next week, and he also said that Custercher was great. Not much money. Monschel Schwartz beer seems to be one of the classics. That's actually sounds like one I would like to try. Then,
yeah. Rainy Ange Parade also says, "Fuck Rickard's Radler. I can get it as well." So you've already ruined his next week for him.
So he's in already because he can get it. So he's in.
Yeah,
it's like funny. I don't see that comment. Anyway,
neither do I. Weird.
Yeah.
Well, if you have it on live chat instead of top comments at the top there, you probably would see it.
I hate how it defaults to that.
Seriously,
it's so stupid.
See that?
Huh?
Yeah.
You're actually 100% right.
They do the same thing on Facebook, by the way, which is fucking super annoying. It's like, how can I read the thread of these comments if it's only giving me the fucking newest ones that are the most popular and inoffensive?
Even when you're at home, like I always have to go back to most recent stories on your fucking homepage. It's so goddamn annoying.
Yeah.
Fucking Facebook. Yeah. Anyway, let's off the rails now.
Yeah. Let's get this
back on the rails and park the train.
This is in danger of becoming unprofessional.
Yeah, we're speaking of being unprofessional. We were just about done. Has anybody got any last thoughts about 8 Sin Dark Black Lager?
Meh.
If you can find it and you like a dark lager, give it a try. It's not bad. If you find it fresh, it's actually probably going to be pretty good for you. So it's not recommended.
My final thought is, look, I can stick my tongue out of my mask hole.
Wow.
All right. Anybody else got any final thoughts that are more intelligent than the mask?
That is a skill to be proud of.
My final thought is, you want to do a little private hangout with that mask on later?
I was going to say, any panties in the chat just got soiled.
Jesus.
I think that's enough of the thoughts we're letting people think too freely now. I must shut down free speech, and we will probably pop on over at Lee's channel after this.
Oh. Peace.
All right. We will talk to you folks later. Thanks for watching Beer Analysis 101. We'll be back at you with next week with Rickard's Radler.
All the
talk
juice.
to you next week. Juice.
Bye, everybody.